Let's talk about Patriots trade targets. Why? Because an NFL insider did release a recent article stating that an NFL executives think that this top trade target could land in New England. We obviously know that the Patriots need a lot of help on the offense and defensive side of the ball. And now that we do have a new head coach, I'm thinking that maybe this destination could be a little bit more attractive to players that possibly want to get paid and have the opportunity to thrive in a new role. So before I break down the latest trade rumors, I want to go on ahead and just bring back some nostalgic feelings to the Patriots fan base. I'm thinking about trade targets. I'm thinking, wow, I remember watching the dynasty of Tom Brady, Bill Belichick like it was yesterday. What season did you guys become Patriots fans? Go on ahead and let me know in the comments section down below. I know we're going to have several different responses, but this way we can know where our fan base really lies here at Chat Sports. So go on ahead, let me know in the comment section down below. Now getting back to what that insider is linking the Patriots to the top trade target, that'll be Tyreek Hill. There are some executives that think Tyreek Hill the perfect destination for him if he does end up leaving Miami, which his own source, a.k.a. Tyreek Hill, has pointed out that he is done in Miami. Well, could the Patriots be the next landing spot for this top wide receiver? We're going to break that down here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports because Tyreek Hill, obviously one of the top receivers still left in the NFL. He has been with a couple of teams in the last couple of years, but let's really break down what has happened in his time in Miami. He was traded in 2022 from Kansas City to Miami, and why would Tyreek Hill ever want to leave the Kansas City Chiefs, who are currently on the track to be three-peat Super Bowl champions? Money. He gets paid. The next year he produces. 2023, he was the leading wide receiver in yards with almost 1,800 receiving yards. But then 2024, some analysts are classifying this to be one of his worst years. Guys, he still had nearly 1,000 yards through the air, but he was labeled as number 30 in top receivers this last season, and he did have a wrist injury, which is unfortunate. That probably did plague, aka his worst year, according to some execs. And now 2024, after the Week 18 loss, well, it looks like Tyreek Hill wants out of Miami. Here's what Tyreek Hill had to say: "I'm opening the door. I'm out, bro. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, I got to do what's best for my career, and I'm just too much of a competitor to be out there." So clearly, he didn't like losing in Miami. Now, the only reserve I have here with Tyreek Hill coming to New England is that we don't have a winning record to give him. We're not a competitor as of right now. So Tyreek Hill saying that after the Week 18 loss and then tweeting this out: "Love Finn Nation, blessing, you'll open the doors for the Hill family forever. Nothing but respect and love." This seems like a goodbye letter to the franchise. And I know there has been a little bit of speculation that maybe Tyreek Hill was just going off of emotion here. But nonetheless, emotion or not, it looks like Tyreek Hill does not want to play for the Miami Dolphins next season. So that pegs us with the question, could Tyreek move to New England? As we are looking for a top wide receiver, as there is a new head coach, a possible new OC in the next couple of days, and a second-year quarterback in Drake May. So my question now to you guys is, want Tyreek Hill and the Patriots? Type 10 for yes. Spam it in the comment section down below. You guys saw on Twitter, he's clearly active on social media. We want him to find this video on YouTube. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break, so go on ahead. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about Tyreek Hill coming to New England. Go on ahead, sit through that ad break. I promise we will be right back. Veteran NFC personnel on Tyreek Hill. This wasn't the article that was released by Jeremy Fowler and ESPN hinting that maybe Tyreek Hill would land in New England. The Patriots are desperate. They need a guy, that alpha, that can be friendly for Drake May. And there's a higher chance of the draft picks Miami would receive in a trade being higher than a contender. So if Tyreek Hill officially does come out here and say once more that he does not want to be on the Miami Dolphins anymore, well, then New England has a lot of leverage. They have a top 5 draft pick this year. They also have $130 million in cap space, and they have a lot of openings for a potential new suitor to come in and feel like they're right at home. There is no competing for your job. You don't have to come here and be like, well, am I going to get the reps with Justin Jefferson? No, you're going to share reps with Demario Douglas. You'll be pretty fine. Obviously, Tyreek Hill would become the number one contender in top targets for Drake May, and I think that putting a veteran with Drake May, especially one that's a top wide receiver in the NFL, would help him so much. I personally do think, I know, despite all the drama that sometimes does come with a superstar like Tyreek Hill, because he has definitely tends to be a diva more often than not, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think Tyreek Hill looking to get paid, which is what he was doing when he was leaving Kansas City, that landed him in Miami. I know that he wants to go to a contender, but New England right now, there is promise with the cap space, with free agency, and with the draft, and now with Mike Vrabel, that we could have a winning record this upcoming year. And if Tyreek Hill really wanted to show Miami that he's better off, we play Miami twice in the regular season in 2025. Now, whether that means Miami would trade Hill to New England, well, that's a different conversation. But I do think that overall, the reason why New England should acquire Tyreek Hill, it does make a lot of sense. So before I break down the rest of my thoughts here on what it would take to get Hill to New England, let me go ahead and tell you guys real quick about GameTime. This is our sponsor here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I use GameTime every single time I am buying tickets to any sporting event, concert, comedy show, or maybe even the theater. Right now, NFL playoffs. It is a magical time in football. You are seeing teams that haven't been to the NFC and AFC championship in numerous decades. Now is the time to recreate history. And also with the NBA playoffs shortly coming up here in 2025. Guys, we're already halfway through January. All-Star Weekend is next month. And then the NBA playoffs will be here before you guys know it. So if you guys want to go on ahead and make some quality time and use GameTime, this way you guys are going to get 100% guaranteed the lowest price. And you're going to have all-in pricing, no surprise fees at checkout. And one of the number one reasons why I use GameTime is because I love the fact that you can see the view from your seat in the app before you buy. That way you guys have the best optimal seating for your viewer experience. If you guys want to go on ahead and get started, that's the easy part. All you guys have to do is download the GameTime app. Use promo code ChatSports. This will give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, download the GameTime app, create an account, use promo code CHATSPORTS. This will give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Download GameTime today. What time is it? It is game time. Why trade for Tyreek Hill? Number one, it has proven to New England that you cannot rely on free agency. You swung and missed on 3 top wide receivers last season: Calvin Ridley, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel. If you put all of your eggs into the T. Higgins possible scenario of trying to acquire him in free agency and he ends up not coming or staying in Cincinnati, you swung and missed again. And then other top wide receivers at free agency like Chris Godwin may already have signed with the team because you're still trying and vying for T. Higgins. I think a trade secures a top wide receiver. Not taking this chance and hoping that you can maybe swing a pitch and show whoever in free agency that this is a good destination for them. Because I'm going to speak for probably the entire New England fan base right here. This is not the sexiest destination right now. Yes, we do have a new head coach. Yes, there is Drake May, the second quarterback. But still, you have a lot of holes on offense and on defense. And these top free agents, especially the wide receiver position, they might want to go somewhere with a little bit more consistency. Or maybe a contender. There are a lot of teams out west that could be contending next year. Same thing on the East Coast. So you have to realize that if you do end up putting all of your eggs into the free agency basket, it can come back to bite you in the butt. And I do not want to see, once again, we rely on Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte because Elliott Wolf could not get a deal done. But number two, even if you rely on the draft, which the Patriots do have a top 5 draft pick this upcoming year, the Patriots notoriously suck at drafting wide receivers. I went back and I looked at all the recent wide receivers that New England laid their eyes on and drafted. From 2024 to 2017, these are all no names. Honestly. Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, I know you can have the argument of, well, give them some time. Maybe they can develop. Maybe that's true, but as of right now in 2024, they are absolute busts. Keep in mind, they traded up to get Jalen Polk when they could have had Ladd McConkey. That is how you know they suck at drafting wide receivers. Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas, thank God they're still on the team, but honestly, Demario Douglas didn't even reach 700 yards. Kayshon Boutte didn't even reach 600 yards this last year. Tyquan Thornton, we cut him. We waived him. He's now with the Chiefs. Trey Nixon, who? 2020, didn't even draft a wide receiver. 2019, N'Keal Harry, bust. 2018, Braxton Berrios, gone. 2017, didn't even try to draft a wide receiver. That's why when you do have a player that immediately comes in, you know exactly what you're going to get. You don't have to rely on their stats in free agency or in the draft or anything like that. That is why getting a player like Tyreek Hill makes the most sense, because you know the exact type of receiver you are going to get. And that leads me to reason number 3. It's Tyreek Hill. What are we talking about? This is still a guy you draft in your fantasy every year in round 1. He is up there with the Jamar Chases, Justin Jeffersons, Amon-Ra St. Browns of the last couple of years. He is an 1,000-yard receiver year in and year out. He had a wrist injury this year, and he was a couple of yards short of reaching 1,000. And when you do pair a guy like Tyreek Hill with Drake May, because that is what you should be looking at here, and I understand that there may be some drama that comes with a guy like Tyreek Hill, but you will 110% help out Drake May if you decide to bring in a top receiver like Hill to just completely change the trajectory of his NFL career. And especially bringing in another offensive coordinator, whether it ends up being an OC or an offensive guy from Minnesota or Detroit, or maybe from Mike Vrabel's former staff on the Tennessee Titans. I think if you give Drake May the right resources in the OC room, and then give him a top target, one of the fastest targets in the NFL, in Tyreek Hill, I think that this could make Drake May a top 10 quarterback next season. And that does sound a little bit crazy, I will be honest, but I believe it. I think it could actually happen. So here is a trade that it would take to get Tyreek Hill, in my opinion. You trade Miami a 2026 third-round pick. However, you throw an exception in there. If Hill becomes a 1,200-yard receiver in his first season with New England, that can bump up into a second-round pick in 2026. And we would get Tyreek Hill. I think that with Miami starting to rebuild, didn't make the playoffs this year, really questioning whether or not Mike McDaniels is going to be that guy moving forward, I think that they would possibly make a trade like this because they do know, hey, we might need to start rebuilding soon, and we could use the extra draft capital. So my question for you guys is, would you make this trade? Type Y for yes, type N for no in the comment section down below if you guys want Hill to come to New England. And as always, if anything ever does happen with the trades and free agency and NFL draft, guys, this is the best offseason for New England since I can remember. Go on ahead and be sure to hit that sub button for me. That way you guys can join over 21,000 loyal Patriots fans right here on YouTube.